What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the show. For tonight's episode, we're actually going to talk about a new show that we have not discussed on this channel before. And I received some feedback from Twitter asking me to check out this show on BET Plus. So I went ahead and got caught up on all the episodes. There wasn't that many episodes to catch up on. So tonight we're going to talk about Zatima by Tyler Perry, or Tyler Perry's Zatima, however you want to say it. We're going to be in season 2, and the most recent episode is episode number 4, and that's entitled "Temperature Rising." All right, so this episode starts off exactly where we left off in the previous episode, and Fatima is trapped in an elevator with this guy named Paul. And they've been trapped in this elevator for quite a while, I believe for over an hour. And Paul is an actual contractor there at the building. So the door finally opens, and Zach is standing directly in front of the door with a group of people. And of course, seeing Fatima looking, looking in such a way where she looks like she's getting up off the floor, where she has stumbled due to the elevator, having some issues. It just didn't look right. So, of course, in Tyler Perry's fashion, he was going to have this nigga had some type of way, due to this situation. So Zach gets on the elevator, and they have this whole going back and forth, he and Paul. Well, not really he and Paul, because it's pretty much Zach going back and forth with Fatima. Fatima is like, listen, this is what happened. You don't need to overreact, yada, 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 whoop, the whoop, whoop. And I actually agree with Fatima at this point, because it wasn't all that, bro. I know what it looked like, but just hear your woman out and go from there. But of course, that wouldn't be in Zach fashion, right? So eventually the guy, Paul, puts his hands on Zach to restrain him and let him know this ain't what you want. I've been training so many things. I know you get down, but I'm not that dude that you want to mess with. So Zach was like, okay, I'm cool. Just let me go. Fatima's going in, saying, hey, just let him go. Take your hands off of him. So eventually he does. Zach says that he's cool. And at that point, Zach headbutts the Negro and knocks him to the ground. And he stays down to the ground for quite a while. I mean, he's been trained and everything, but it seems like he hasn't been trained on how to get up off the damn ground. But anyhow, man, so going past that, we then see Belinda and nosy-ass Angela, and they're sitting at a table. Belinda, I believe she's doing some type of podcast, trying to pay her bills. And they're just sitting at a table conversing about, the whole Zach and Fatima situation, but specifically talking about Zach. And obviously there is a video of some sort that is circulating on the internet. So they talked a little bit about it. They were looking at it, or Angela was looking at it. And I believe also they were talking about how he was tripping over Paul changing Fatima's tire. So that's another thing. So going from that point, and I'm not going to bore you all with my whole commentary on this episode. I'm gonna just get to the facts and move forward, because it was essentially what it was with this episode. Next, we see Zach's homeboys are waiting for Zach to show up at the b-ball court, at the basketball court. And, they're just pretty much talking about, Zach's whole situation with Fatima, how he's P-whipped and all this stuff. And they're just waiting for him. So eventually, we go back to Angela. And Angela and Fatima have met, and they're out getting ready to eat. And I believe they're sitting at a bar. And Angela tells Fatima about a video of Zach that's circulating on the internet. Now, this is my thing, and I even had this issue with Angela on Tyler Perry's Sisters. Like, I get being a good friend, but at the same time, it seems like you're always throwing salt in the wound. Like, I don't know what it is, like with Angela, even with the photo, and it's always a damn photo. Even on Sisters, she had a photo, and then now she has this photo or this image or this video that's circulating around the internet, and now she's like, I really don't want to say nothing. And then you give the daggone file to the lady that has a podcast, Belinda, that you already know has an issue with Fatima, or they both have an issue because of what she was trying to do with Zach. So it seems like you're just not a great friend. And I know you keep talking about, yeah, I know, girl, I know this, but at the same time, real friends don't do that, Angela. So I just can't foresee how we can continuously be friends if you're constantly doing shit that's, keeping me angry or throwing a monkey wrench into my relationship. I just don't see how you're going to be a great friend doing that. So, that pissed me off a little bit, but I can see why Fatima was upset. She couldn't really eat, and she left. And truth be told, it really looked like Angela didn't give a damn. I'm just being honest. It just doesn't look like she cares. She was trying to get more drinks. You see what I'm saying? And she's fine. She's a fine little thick chick, man. But this whole messiness about her, man, is not great at all. So we head back over to Zach and his homeboys, Nathan and Tony. They're still waiting at the court. So finally, no, they're not waiting. Zach is there at that time. So one of his homeboys done called up. See, once again, we got these messy friends. One of his homeboys have called, I believe it was Nathan. I think it was Nathan they called. I need to go back and look at it. I'm not sure. But one of these niggas called, right? So they called Connie. And Connie has been an issue for Zach for quite a while. So they called Connie, right, to fix the issue with Zach. So they were believing that he wasn't getting any. That was their explanation to the way he was acting, or that he had blue balls or whatever. I don't understand the logic in calling the girl. If you know I'm in a relationship with a woman, why would you call the young lady that I've had in previous times, and knowing that I have a situation where it's hard for me to resist her as my friend, as my dog? I need you to get me out of these situations where I'm falling into these traps. What I need you to do is pull me up out of the pit, not place me in the pit, knowing that it's going to be hard to get up out the pit. Man, I'm going to have to put listen, woo-saw. I just didn't understand that. And then, let me. But yeah, Connie came looking good. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah. And Connie told that man, hey, let's go back to getting to what we do. You know what I'm saying? She told that nigga, hey, let's get back to getting sweaty. You remember how we used to get sweaty, how we used to get down? And I was like, dang, yeah. I said, Zach, that don't sound too bad, bro. But no, truth be told, I'm with Zach on this. Zach stood his own, even though the temptation was right there in front of him. He said, no, I ain't gonna get into that tonight. I remember what we used to do. I remember how it used to be. I remember how sweaty we would be, but not tonight. It ain't going down like that. And I could hear it. And he had to put that ball in place because, let her know, no, we're not going down like that. You can grab this ball, but not the other balls. So she was persistent about that. But at the same time, I commend Zach for standing his own, being a grown-ass man for once, holding it down. And then, of course, he had to call his niggas out on that. Hey, I'm going to F y'all up, man, because that's not what y'all should be doing. If we are having an issue, I need y'all to support me and not try to get me into some shit. So I'm going to move on from there. So, yeah, he called him out on their BS. I absolutely agree with that, man, for calling them out for that, man, because that was unnecessary. Y'all could have done something differently to support me in that situation. But anyway, so next we see Fatima sitting in the car. She receives a phone call from her mom, who calls her to inquire about, where she's been. She hasn't been to their house in 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So And then she's also heard about Fatima's love life. So she had Zach's name, his address, all of the above. And so she was like, okay, everything good. Fatima's like, yeah, mom, everything is good. I just pretty much been going through it. I've had a rough day. And then she said, well, why don't you bring him through over the weekend? Bring him by this weekend. And Fatima like, okay, I'll do that. But obviously she hasn't told her mom about her living situation. So because her mom was like, well, I sent you this package about 3 weeks ago, and it came back, and it keeps coming back. And then I called, and then they gave me a forwarded address. So she got all that information, and she's on her way, obviously, because she was on the road. And then we finally see when Zach pulls up. When Zach pulls up to his crib, we see Deja, who's in the car, overacting as usual, being a nuisance. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. So she's screaming at the top of her lungs at this moment, like she can't get out. I would have taken my ass into the house. Like, I don't have time for that. But Zach pulls up to the crib. They just start screaming, talking about she can't get out. She can't get out of her car. Well, how your ass get in the car, but you can't get out the car? But anyway, so she gets out. She's talking about she can't get out the car. Zach comes over. And he was like, what's going on? What do you need help with? And she was like, just help me out. And he was like, your rent ain't due yet. And she was like, no. So he pulled her car like, I'm a hustler. I know exactly how this goes down. But she was like, no, it's not like that. So anyway, so Zach helps her out of the car. And then she goes over and beyond to put her body on, right? And in the midst of all of this confusion that's going on between he and Deja, this white sedan pulls up into the driveway, and she was like, you know who that is? He was like, no, I don't know who the heck that is. And finally the lady gets up out of the car. The woman gets up out of the car and walks around. They're like, who are you? And she was like, are you Zach? He was like, yeah. And he's still currently holding Deja in his arms at that time. And she says, well, I'm Fatima's mama. And he drops Deja to the ground. And so Deja's mom is sitting, not Deja's mom, Fatima's mom is just simply sitting there like, nigga, I know you just didn't drop her on the ground. Now, who is she? Because she's definitely not Fatima. So that's pretty much how the episode ended. Like I said before, it was okay. But like I said, Tyler Perry has to do a better job with some of these actors. It is what it is. It's a form of entertainment. It's cool for what it is. But I'm interested to see how Fatima's going to talk her way out of this, and how, as well as Zach, like, her mom this is her first time meeting him. So, with her seeing this situation in this context, you holding a whole different woman that's not my daughter, and my daughter is not here. So what are you doing? Are you fool-la-la with old girl next door, which you've already had issues with? It just seems like Zach always constantly ends up in these same predicaments. So I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. As always, like and subscribe to this channel. Share this content as well. And until next time, peace.